Ireland and Portugal, folks, 106 points to 7. I don't know that we need to go through all the key events and stats of this one because that's a whole heap of tries and not so much going on for Portugal. A wee bit of a training run feel about this one. Nice weather in Portugal. It seems like a load of Irish fans travelled, maybe making a weekend of it, experiencing some of the nice Portuguese weather, go to see your team play a game. What a good excuse. And the first match between these sides ever, well, it's a lopsided one, 106-7. Ireland did not let the foot off the gas, really. The timings of the scores don't really have many gaps between them. It is just consistent scoring. And they even went for the jugular at the end when they were 99 points on the board. They still wanted more points. For the Portuguese, well, they didn't get nilled. Is one positive to take from this game, but that's about it. Yeah, they had some injuries. They had to reject their backline, which certainly didn't help. But, I mean, they were behind within like a minute. First try was 50-odd seconds. The number of try scorers, I mean, who do we highlight? Bolton was everywhere out wide. He was cutting them to bits. Hugh Gavin bagged a couple on debut, which is a nice one for him. Remember, he was a kind of late inclusion into the squad. Clarkson got one when I think it was the quick tap one. There's so many tries I genuinely can't remember, but he'll probably tell you that try was 20 metres out, but it was a little bit closer than that. But good to see the tight head prop get on the board. Cian Prendergast bagged a couple. Crowley kicked the vast majority of his conversions. Kendellen was big on the tackle. Nash got one, basically his first touch when he came off the bench. Tommy O'Brien still looks electric, but I mean, how do you compare these guys? Because everybody looked good when you're playing a team and you score 100 points. It was good to see some variation from Ireland. They scored tries from line-out moves. They scored tries from carrying it out their own 22. They scored tries from just getting it wide. Quick taps, like I mentioned. There was much variation in their play. It wasn't just straight mauls. Some of the mauls were kind of trick plays and then out to the backs and whatnot. So it was genuinely a bit of that training run feel. Get to try out some of your plans. See how they work out. Portugal, for their part, I mean, they tackled when they could, but they missed a lot of tackles. What was the total count? 41. 41 missed tackles. Half the game is spent basically waiting for Crowley to restart the game, sadly. But 19 clean breaks. The Irish were cutting them to bits. I mean, the Irish defensive numbers, to be honest, from when Portugal had the ball, they're not flash. Like, Portugal got 7 clean breaks. 7 clean breaks is more than some other games had this weekend. Like, so was it Italy and South Africa had 3 each. Very different game, but you know what I mean. So for the Portuguese to get 7 clean breaks is actually not too bad. So, yeah, but they were getting penalised. Yeah, it's a rough one. A rough one for the Portuguese. Simon Mannix, the coach, said after the game that it just shows they can't compete with the Tier 1 sides even without, their British and Irish Lions guys. The Irish are just a cut above. Portugal didn't really have any prep time in terms of prep games for this one, and it showed. But yeah, Ireland were absolutely ruthless. As I said, they showed variety on attack. Portugal's little dinking kicks through didn't seem to be doing the job. Ireland were quite comfortable to handle that. And score 106 points. It's not a scoreline you see every day. Last time I saw it, maybe New Zealand against Tonga during the COVID years when Tonga had to field a patchwork team because they couldn't get the players into the country because New Zealand had border restrictions. It's been a while. Maybe against the US, we put 100 points on them as well, I think. Not very often you see 100 points put on in a test match, but that's what happened. Possession, territory. Kendellen had 14 tackles. He's the top Irish tackler. Bolton, 4 clean breaks, a couple of tries. Jimmy O'Brien, a bunch of carries. How does Jimmy O'Brien not score a try in this game? Tommy O'Brien bagged a couple. Crowley, I think, made 3 from 5 tackles. So he's slightly higher than Sam Prendergast's usual numbers, but I think he might have missed. Did he miss the tackle in the lead up to the Martins try? With the centre went with the kind of shimmy steps and then the late pass? Yeah. There you go. So 106-7. What else is there to say? I'm at a bit of a loss for words. The TMO was also at a loss for words because they lost the communications between the ref and the TMO. He was constantly struggling to hear the TMO. After like 20 minutes, they just said, like, no more TMO, I can't hear him. Which is kind of unusual. And the commentators, yeah, because this game was free on Rugby Pass. I don't know if you guys had different broadcasters in Ireland, but yeah, they definitely had a couple of amateur guys doing the commentary, which was something a bit different, but they couldn't quite figure out who was going to do the play-by-play and who was going to do like the color comments. You know, they were kind of talking over each other, but you needed one person to do the play-by-play, and then stoppages, the other guy or girl needs to kind of come in. So it was a bit different. But that's the end of my Sunday rugby weekend. Wasn't expecting that kind of scoreline, but there's some depth in Irish rugby. Yeah, these guys get a chance to put their hand up, but I'm not sure how much value or whatever gets placed on it, given that kind of, as I said, massively lopsided scoreline. But hey, you only play the team that's in front of you, and at least Portugal didn't get nilled. You guys let us know your thoughts on the match. As I said, here in New Zealand anyway, it was on Rugby Pass TV for free. If you want to see a ton of tries, feel free to check it out. Thomas Clarkson, Prop got one. You guys take care. I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.